is the definition of cuckold?
It's where it's a person who has to take care of another man's kid. Adoption is biological cuckoldry. That's on them. I'm not gonna, shame them or hate them for doing it. I suppose it's sort of a service to civilization, although it usually tends to be a whole bunch of, I won't be racist.
I'm not gonna be racist, but
So where did race come in, dude?
Well, as a white dude, I don't know. I wouldn't expend my white resources on some little.
Alright. Hello and welcome to Platinum Politics. I'm your host Mace, and today I have a somewhat interesting debate for you. I'm starting to realize that I don't understand whether or not these debates are interesting, but I guess that's a good thing that you're the judge. One thing you'll begin to realize being in the Discord space for any amount of time is that you can't tell whether or not somebody's being serious or not, and that is very much so the case with this conversation. A lot of it really felt like rage bait, but we decided to take this guy seriously and to see what he had to say, and he said things, that's for sure. But anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. And now it's time for today's impromptu debate.
cuckoldry is crazy.
I mean, it is though. You're taking care of another man's kid. Like that's objectively cuckoldry.
What is the definition of cuckold?
It's where it's a person who has to take care of another man's kid.
That is not the definition.
I'm pretty sure it is.
This guy's rage baiting.
Okay, so no, it's not. Okay, we're taking this guy serious.
It's not rage baiting.
I'm a very serious person.
Cuckold is the guy sits in the room while your mommy and daddy wrestle. Okay,
Mommy and daddy wrestle.
Okay, so that's like, I suppose, like the human definition of it, but from a biological perspective, cuckoldry is where you take care of a child and invest resources and time and energy into a child that is not related to you. That is biologically what cuckoldry is. Adoption is biological cuckoldry. And so if some people want to get cuck-held, that's on them. I'm not going to, shame them or hate them for doing it. I suppose it's sort of a service to civilization, although it usually tends to be a whole bunch of, I won't be racist. But anyway, I wouldn't choose it myself. I mean, that seems like a really fucking stupid option.
Well, I'm not gonna be racist, but
I'm trying to understand. This guy's trying.
I'm not gonna be racist, but
So where did race come in, dude? We're talking about cuckoldry and adoption, bro.
Well, I mean, a lot of people like to adopt like little black kids. Sorry.
Well, what's
wrong with that?
Well, as a white dude, I don't know. I wouldn't expend my white resources on some little.
Alright. Well,
sorry, was that too far? I didn't mean to go too far. I don't always quite know how to grasp the room.
Oh my goodness, dude.
What even is my life at this point? What the fuck?
I just want you to finish the point at this point. Why? Why not? What's the problem? Why not?
I can't tell if that was like a joke or not. Like that sounded like an awful joke.
My brain is getting fried. Like, I mean, why not? Like, why not? What's the problem with you?
Adopting a black kid. Like, what's wrong?
Would you?
The only problem.
Would you, as a black man, labor for 50 hours a week to try to make sure that my kids survived? Would you do that? My white ass fucking pale ass fucking. Spend 10 minutes in the sun, they get sunburned fucking kids. Would you do that?
You're trying to search so hard for the white racism and you couldn't find it, man.
Okay.
No. I mean, the only problem I could see adopting a black kid is the fact that I wouldn't understand always the needs or the strifes of the kid, because the black kid would have some different experiences to me as a white person in the way that they're treated in society, right? So I could perhaps give them advice that would not be befitting of what would be most beneficial to them. So that's kind of the only issue there that I could see. But other than that,
do you think so like in the wild, like when it comes to like lions and bears and shit, do you think that they're interested in having like their own progeny, or do you think that like lions and tigers and bears are interested in adopting?
Have you asked one?
Well, they don't tend to speak a lot of English.
You know, lions accept like people into the pride, right? They can accept humans into the pride, and even dogs.
Oh, sure, yeah. Do you, have you ever seen like a bear like take care of a chicken?
Yeah, I have my neighbor is a bear who takes care of a chicken. Actually, as a matter of fact,
Your neighbor is a bear.
Dude,
I
that's
didn't
the most
realize that you lived
fascinating
next to a
thing, yeah.
Russian.
I mean, there's bears who have families. Like, okay, there's this one bear in Canada. Actually, it's a polar bear. Polar bears are the meanest out of the bears, by the way.
Yeah, they are
And,
assholes.
Yeah, they're assholes, and they take care. They can get along with anyone. Yeah, they can get along with anyone. Some panda bears can even treat other animals like their own. So yeah, I think adoption is a thing in nature. It's quite possibly a thing in nature.
I believe that nature tends to be quite brutal and unsympathetic, and if you adopt, some other male bear's baby bear, then well, your genes don't get passed on, and for whatever reason, and I know that this is a little bit controversial, but I did study biology back in college, and passing on genes does seem to be like pretty important for like the whole like natural selection game. So they're very unlikely to do that sort of endeavor. Of course, there's exceptions, but it just seems as though an animal has a limited amount of potential energy that it can exert, and why would it exert that limited amount of potential energy on someone else's kid when it could have its own kid? That just kind of seems to be like kind of like the game that like the whole rest of the animal species is playing. But I do respect that humans have, I guess, like mesmerized or hypnotized themselves into like this different game where, yeah, it's totally acceptable to adopt.
Well, because we have economy.
Reasons.
Well,
we have economy, and yeah, like we've kind of like we've hypnotized ourselves into this belief that honestly, it's not important if we have kids. I'll just take care of someone else's kids. I don't need.
Well, I don't think that's like the main problem, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that adoption or adopting kids is actually extraordinarily beneficial because it essentially shores up wasted economic potential.
Do you think that the purpose of civilization is economics or humans?
Civilization can't exist without economics.
Yeah, but can civilization exist without humans?
Civilization cannot exist without humans.
Yeah, I feel like humans are more important than economy.
That's why we should just get bring other people into the country.
That's why we should import 1 billion Indians so that they can take care of that shit for us.
I bet you agree with that, Polonium.
No. I don't know how adopting kids is mutually exclusive to having kids. Like, I'd like to see a study on that, or like any sort of article talking about how adopting kids reduces like the chances of having a kid. I mean, if not, I think that adopting a kid would probably increase your chances of having kids because people get experience in it.
I have an ex-girlfriend, right? We adopted 2 cats, and then she decided that, you know what, we don't have to have kids because those were fur babies. Boom.
Okay, well that's just some
thing.
Insanity. That's some insanity, in my opinion. I mean, I mean, I don't know. That's just not.
It's a woman. Like I know, but it's a thing, man. It's like, you adopt one kid, it's like getting a tattoo. You want to get another one, and then suddenly you're not really living life for yourself. You're suddenly living life for your fur babies or your melanin babies, whatever the fuck it is.
Did bro just say melanin, baby?
You gotta stop, man. What the fuck?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, yeah, your jokes are a little bit shady.
To say least, as.
A little bit shady. Oh my fucking god, I just realized that's a pun. No. What the fuck? Anyway, I don't find that very funny. Even though I laughed at it, I don't think it's a funny thing to say.
Yeah.
But still, like, all jokes aside, dude, like, I don't see how adopting kids is a bad thing necessarily. Like, saying that
you're spending resources on
there's a lot of logical fallacies in there. Well, I mean, there's a lot of logical fallacies in there, right?
There's no logical fallacies. You're expending resources on a child that isn't yours from a natural naturalistic perspective, this makes no sense. And the people that choose to do this are very nice citizens, but there will be less of them in the future because that's how Darwinism works. Unfortunately, that's the game that we play. The game that we play is not nice.
You're trying to apply evolutionary social principles onto a society that doesn't necessarily
actively rejects it. Yes.
Conform
but
it?
no matter how much the society rejects the Darwinistic principles, it doesn't mean that it will be able to escape the Darwinistic principles.
So you're a social Darwinist.
Just living in social Darwinist, no. Regular Darwinist, yes.
So wait a second. Are you a eugenicist?
No. Actually, I believe that eugenics is one of the most evil things that mankind can possibly commit. I am super against eugenics.
Okay, yeah, because I was about to say, like, if you go down the eugenics route, because
no,
I mean, yeah, because I actually have heard this argument before where people say that we shouldn't, adopt kids because kids that are put into the adoption system are from usually unwanted places, and if they're from unwanted, that means they're part of the gene pool that's bad. I've heard that argument a few times, or half a handful of times. So
no, that's a shit argument. No.
That's okay. So your argument is the fact that we shouldn't adopt kids because it's not our kids because you're a naturalist.
Yes. Sure. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
So wait, you're like some sort of anarchist, I would assume then.
No.
Okay. Very niche, very nuanced. I've never heard an opinion like this before. Actually, really
I know.
intrigued.
I have original opinions.
What do you believe in? Like, what are your political beliefs?
If my heart tells me, burn down civilization, return to monkey, eat banana. My brain tells me, construct monarchy, go to Mars. It's just where I'm at.
Construct monarchy and go to Mars, but with no adopted kids in the process. Great, got it.
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, you asked me my political perspective.
No, I mean, I did. It's just you have libertarian right, nationalist, and monarchist, which are all almost totally contradictory things in certain circumstances. So you believe in a society that has a monarch at its head that has high levels of social liberty, but also believes in national cause. I mean, I know picking roles isn't exactly accurate always, but I mean, this is a very interesting opinion. I've never.
Oh, I don't. Wait, are you looking at my rolls? I just picked those as a meme. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
No, I mean, honestly, the politics of this aren't. I don't think they're that interesting.
But wait, do you think those kids are undeserving of love from another family? Then, do you think that?
No, I don't think that they're undeserving. I think that there will always be suckers that are cucked enough to raise another man's child. I just know that I'm not willing to do that because that would be cucked as fuck.
So that's just your personal beliefs, not what you politically believe or would put on people?
Well, I will always say that it's retarded to adopt children, but I also know that humans are compassionate motherfuckers, and there will always be some white guy from Scandinavia that will adopt some fucking brown child from Somalia. And that's just the way of the world.
Okay, what type of adoption are you talking about? Are you talking about
bringing them into your house, feeding them, giving them clothing, housing them, that kind of shit?
Okay, so you're not. Are you talking about going down to your local adoption center and being like, I want a kid?
The only reason that I would ever adopt a child is to purchase them and make them work in my factory. That's the only reason I would do that.
Oh, so there's the libertarian right coming out of you. All right.
There you go.
So you...
I don't actually own a factory. There's no reason for me to ever adopt.
Hey, you can pretend, though.
I can. It's the internet. I could own a factory.
You could identify as an 1800...
I identify as a factory owner. Yeah, I identify. I may not own a factory, but I identify as a factory owner. Fuck yeah.
Oh, that's fucking funny. But I don't see it as a waste. I like couples that can't have kids or people that can't have kids. I think that's a great way to have them have kids if they want kids.
All right. So I got a stance that you're probably not gonna like, right?
Okay.
There are people that they can't have kids. Both the woman and the man, they just their sperm and their eggs, they don't work right, whatever the fuck, they can't have kids.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah. But they want the wholesomeness of being able to have a family. In that case, I think that in that very specific case, I think adoption makes sense. But I also think that they should keep the adoption in the family.
What do you mean by that?
Like if it's a couple white people, you know, I don't know, fucking adopt some Finnish.
Wait, so
fucking
you're
kid.
you're a racist libertarian, right? All right.
I don't think that makes me racist. I think that it's best for all races because I am pro diversity, especially when it comes to racial diversity. I think that the Finnish should accept the Finnish people. I think the Somalian should accept the Somalian people. I think the English should accept the English people. I think that if you have the option to adopt, you should probably adopt within your own, let's say, nationality, ethnicity, whatever the fuck.
What about have kids? Should you have kids within your own nationality as well?
Like, should you like interbreed with people of other races?
You say interbreed as it's a charged term, like interbreeding, like as if it's between two species.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's two species to have a kid with a person who
Have
is
you ever
black.
been able to tell the difference between a white person and a black person? I mean, I'm race blind, so like I haven't been able to, but have you ever been able to?
What do you mean? Tell the difference between
Like, can you tell the difference between a white person and a black person?
sometimes yes, sometimes no. Depends.
Yeah,
because
but
I don't
usually, though,
like
you
if you're
can't.
if you're
Like,
looking
we
at
all know that
skin
you
color-
can usually. Come on.
Okay, 1 second. I'm talking about if you're talking about their personality.
Is this a weed friendly server, by the way? Can I get stoned?
Yes, it is.
I'm
When
gonna
you're
get stoned.
when you're talking about for me, I live in a very diverse area, and the diverse cultures that I grew up with are very homogenized into the cultures. So there's lots of different cultures, but they all speak good English. So a lot of the people I've grown up with are all different skin colors and all different ethnicities and all different backgrounds, but they all speak the same English and do very similar things. So it's actually very difficult to tell a person apart. There's no like striking black or Indian or Chinese or X and X label identity over a person for me, from the people that I've seen. But there can be. I think that in some places like the United States, it's very culturally hostile in some areas. And there's lots of places where white people stay with white people and black people stay with black people and Hispanics stay with Hispanics. And that's kind of the way it is in a lot of places.
Do you believe that black people are better at basketball than Asian people are?
I think that talking about an entire race as a whole, whether they're good at a sport or not, is stupid because it removes
Statistically, dude, come on. Statistically speaking,
are people statistics?
Do you think that black people, on average, are better at basketball than Asian people? You know the answer. Just say it.
No. Have you seen some of those fucking Asian motherfuckers that are like fucking 8'3" in China or whatever? Have you seen them?
That's
in the
not
Olympics?
how any of this works.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. People aren't statistics, dude.
Yeah, they're not statistics, but there is an average when it comes to populations, and I'm pretty sure that on average, black people are better at basketball than Asian people are. I mean, that has to be
How's this
true.
relevant?
Well, I just want you to agree with that before we move on. I mean, can we both agree with that?
On average?
On average, are black people better at basketball than Asian people are?
Well, I don't want to say on average because I think it's stupid. I don't believe in the on average, so I'm not answering that question. I think it's a dumb question. I think it's a dumb idea to judge people from an average.
Why can't you answer the question though? I mean, if it's so dumb, just answer it and tell me I'm retarded.
I did answer it. Yeah, I did. You're retarded.
Well, no, you didn't answer it. Which is better at basketball, the black or the Asian?
My lawyer has advised me not to comment on this.
All right, man. I mean, shit. If you don't want to go into it, that's fine.
I just think that making perceptions on a group of people from a position of...
But that's all we can do. We're a pattern recognition species. We make perceptions upon groups of people. For instance, I make perceptions upon the people that live in the other building than me. I can look at them through my window. It's the other building across the block. What are they up to? I can make perceptions about fucking any pattern that I observe. And one of the most recognizable patterns, I would say, is men versus women. Shit, I can make a lot of perceptions about women now, can't I?
I mean, I'm watching your mom right now, so...
Have you ever made perceptions about women? Have you ever thought that, like, maybe women and men were a little bit different?
Yeah, I think that
everybody is different. I mean, every human is different.
I think that every group is different, yes, to marginal degrees.
Are there broad differences between men and women?
Broad differences, yes.
Yeah.
Many areas.
Yeah, of course there are.
But the differences, again, are an average. So I tend to go by person. If you want to make policies or statistics, like, I still believe that you have to follow ethics and treat people correctly. Like, I don't, like, you sound like the type of guy who's extraordinarily racist and would deport groups of people to different countries because they look different than you, and you think that that's a bad thing. That's kind of the vibe that you're giving me right now, right? So that's kind of the contention that I'm having.
Well, I mean, women are different than me. I'm not going to deport the women. I'm not a gay, right?
I'm not a gay.
Oh my god,
Dude, what the fuck am I talking about?
I'm straight and I want to deport all women. Screw it.
I want to import more women. The Western practice has been. The Western practice has been to import a whole bunch of military-aged males, and it kind of feels like we're being invaded. I want to enact a new policy. All right, check this out. If you're really fleeing from like a refugee situation, the women and children come first, not the men. And I think that fixes it. I will happily accept a whole bunch of women into my country. I'm not going to mind that. And that's it.
Why?
If it's a true refugee situation, the women and children matter the most, not the men. We all know that. And also, I'm never going to be opposed to having women in my civilization. More women is better. It's how the world works. It's a win-win. So that's how we solve the whole migration thing. You can totally come in. Just has to be mostly women and children. Let's go.
Okay.
Maybe some like old men, like some grandfathers. Women, children, and grandfathers. I think that actually that's better. Not just women and children. That's a little bit unstable. Grandfathers. Women, children, grandfathers. Those are the refugees that we accept in. Yes. That's how we solve it. No more military-aged men just fucking coming into our shores unannounced. Let's stop that. That's what the West has been doing. Let's not do that.
Wait, so like, I'm just curious. Like, what do you believe? Like, so you don't believe that white and black people should get together? You don't believe that? Or are you a culture assimilationist? Do you believe that people should assimilate into culture, or do you think that people can only assimilate via their race? Because like, I completely disagree with the assimilating by race and culture. I think that
okay. So my perspective, and I am biased. I am completely biased on this one, but my perspective is there might be something called hybrid vigor. Very weak argument, but I heard it way back in the day. Main argument, I think whites and Asians actually are a pretty good mix. I'm okay with blending some culture, perhaps some genes with, I don't know, like the Japanese, probably not the Asians, but maybe the Koreans, you know, kind of like fellow islanders. I think that like a white, but like with a little bit of Asian like mix. I think that's fine, and I'm okay with that. Like I think that a little bit of racial admixture can be beneficial, but I will never say that fucking a Neanderthal is a good idea, or sorry, an Aboriginal. Although technically that's more of a Devisonian. I would never say that fucking a Neanderthal is a good idea, right? So it's like there are some pathways that are beneficial when it comes to race mixing. There are also some other pathways that appear to be actually quite negative when it comes to race mixing, and it's all up to a choice that we make actively in our lives. That's how the game is played.
Okay, well, I think that's a stupid as hell opinion, born out of stereotypes and a whole lot of know nothing.
I think that you should have gotten an abortion, or your mother should have gotten an abortion. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll remember that. I'll remember that one for next time. Actually,
Polonium,
you
should have gotten an abortion.
I know I should have gotten an abortion, guys.
Oh my god. Well, you know what, nice guy, you definitely stick to your...
I appreciate that.
Not so nice guy. Mr. I would racially homogenize my nation guy. Why do you choose Japan? I'm just curious, why do you choose Japan in specific for building your master race?
I feel like the Anglos and the Japanese are both from islands. And they're both pale, and they're both smart. And I just feel like if we could have like an Anglo-Japanese, orgy, I just feel like we would create a master race.
Dude, holy fucking shit. Oh my god.
What is this rating? This is a weird rating. I don't know how to...
This guy was like, I hate all of the races, but I watch fucking Pokemon once in a while, so we'll keep the Japanese through
Dude,
my
Misty
honorary.
was so hot. That's how I realized this philosophy. You know, there's something funny that I recently kind of like learned about. I guess like white people. You know, white people have.
Thanks, Inquisitor.
White people have both a strength and a weakness, you know, and I'm talking about, you know, actual white people, not the Germans, not the French, not the fucking Greeks, you know, not the Italians, not the Russians, you know, the white
everybody else but exactly me, guys.
exactly.
What the fuck, man?
I think that when it comes to the Northwest Europeans, we're talking about like the Anglo-Saxons, suppose the west part of Scandinavia, the Viking part. I do believe that we accomplish a lot with a relatively small amount of population. That's just what
I think
are.
accomplish is very subjective.
Like English accomplishes a lot with a very like almost like not really the best operating system, but it accomplishes a lot. And you know what?
What's accomplishing? Can you please explain that?
Let me ask you a question.
No, I asked the questions here. What's accomplishing?
Which do you think came first? The English culture or the English language?
Can you explain what accomplishing is for me? Like I want to understand what you mean by accomplishing.
In order to answer your question, because I don't know what the fuck accomplishment means. Which came first, the English culture or the English language?
No, I mean, I don't. I mean, you were the one who made a claim that, you know, the English make accomplishments, and like that. You said this quote: Northwest Europeans do a lot with very little people, which I say is like bullshit, because like the Romans, for example, every single part of legal code and system that we have comes from Roman society. Which literally Rome was a city of vagrants after its founding and after the mythical kingdom era. It was a city of vagrants that refugees from different warring states that spoke different languages, that came from different areas of the world, fled to and combined to make a Roman identity. So like if you just look at a snippet of history and
I believe that civilization started near the equator. And as the earth started to get warmer, the ability to do agriculture probably like shifted upwards, and that's how like you started with Egypt, then you went to you started with Mesopotamia, then you went to Egypt. Anyway, equatorial. And then it started to head north and north and north. It went to Greece, and then Italy, and then France, and then Germany, and then Britain, and then it'll probably move to like, I don't know, Russia, and then eventually Greenland. They will be in charge of everything.
No, but, it was like this, right?
The natural locus of civilization has been shifting upwards for thousands of years, and I think it probably has to do with temperature, and I think that's really cool.
I mean, I mean, your theory. Like, I mean, do you know how Egypt formed as a civilization?
Probably had to do with the Nile River, if I were going to take a guess.
Yeah, so most civilizations formed from denser areas. People migrated everywhere, but generally areas that are flatter or richer in resources. For example, if you talk about cultures in Britain, right, or even like cultures, you know, in the area that you're talking about, Northwest Europe. I mean, do you include France as a part of that?
Part of me, no.
No, France is a part of that culture that you said, Northwestern culture.
No, it's a continental.
So you think that the culture that you're talking about of Europeans doing things emerged from that culture?
I believe that I think that Britain is an island, and it got into an island war with like some people that might as well be on an island because they were on like a peninsula blocked completely by mountains. So it's basically the same thing as a fucking island. I think the all island, yeah, the island shit. That's what makes the island people, and it's very different than continental Europe, which involves like, you know, France, Germany, whatever the fuck. I think that they evolved differently, like some shit like that. Like I believe that the people that I came from, which are by the way drunkards and unreasonable, or at least some of us are, not all of us, but some of us are. But we evolved differently than the French or the Germans.
I mean,
it's just a different style of life.
Not
It's
really.
not the same object, you know?
Not really, because without the Romans, you wouldn't have taxes, you wouldn't have organized pave infrastructure. If you had no Romans come into Britain, you would still be whispering to rocks and would still be doing everything through oral tradition. So I mean, you're making claims that these sorts of people are the people who would go out and conquer, but I mean, I think that's very null and void, because if you look at how these civilizations came to be, if you look at Rome specifically, Rome, it was not a very homogenous society in many ways. Yet Rome, most Roman legions, most people did not speak the same language unless they were citizenry, right? So in the early
Do you
Republic,
think it's
in the early Republic, they spoke Latin, they spoke the early forms of Latin. But as the empire progressed, right, the empire spoke drastically different languages. I mean, especially at its peak, the empire relied mostly on auxiliaries and not Roman citizens. So, I mean, a lot of the, even most of the emperors of Rome came from vastly different areas. I mean, look at Constantine, he was a Briton. You can look at Severus Septimus. He was an African man. You can look at many of the different emperors, and it just shows that as long as you are a capable person, you can do capable decisions. And I think that eliminates your whole idea that X group of people came from X area, therefore I'm going to draw Y conclusion on an entire race. I think that's a very null and void opinion. I think that's very fallacious in nature and generalizes.
I believe that man is a pattern recognition machine, and if the black people realize that it's better for them to hang out with black people, and the Asian people realize that it's better for them to hang out with Asian people, and the white people realize that it's better for the white people to hang out with white people, I think that that's totally fine. And I would hate to get in the way of what appears to be a natural process. I mean, I just think that's fucking fair, man.
So I don't disagree with the natural process. Like, I think that humans are tribal people generally. So we all group up with what looks to be the same, right? I mean, they even perceive this with mental disorders. People who have ADHD, people who have autism will generally cluster. People who have different traits cluster together because those who are more similar like to cluster with each other. But like, I don't see any huge issue with like white and black people, you know, being with each other. Like, I mean, I hang out with black people, I hang out with white people, I hang out with Indians, I hang out with Chinese, I hang out with natives, I hang out with everybody. And
I actually hang out with. Okay, I would just like to briefly tell you that I hang out with a whole bunch of those people as well. I think that I have people that I talk to that are all sorts of races, but I will tell you this. I don't care what race you are, as long as you're being racist. All right?
Here's the rage baiting.
All of my different racial friends are all fucking racist, and they hate me as much as I hate them. All right? That's how you establish friendship.
See, there's the rage baiting. We came full circle. We found it, Mace. there's the troll debate. There's the troll debate. Holy shit.
Oh, I thought that was genuine.
I thought you were serious for a second. Oh, my bad.
I mean,
it wouldn't have been funny. I mean, if you were saying not funny, right?
I have a gay friend, I have a black friend, I have a Jew friend. We are all extremely racist and homophobic, and it's okay. Like, I call the black dude an N-word. It's fine. No one dies. It's all right. We all get over it. And then they make fun of me for being some sort of like Anglo. Who's probably a Protestant that has bad teeth. It's fine. It's fine. Racism is how you cure racism.
Yeah, like he's sprinkling in bullshit with like bits of genuinity. Yeah, that's crazy.
Hello, Jake.
Hello, Jake.
What's the discussion?
This guy's been rage baiting the entire time about. I don't know. Nice guy. Do you want to explain your opinion to Jake? You want to explain your political beliefs?
I'm pro-abortion.
Oh.
That's not what we were talking about.
Okay.
Not just pro-choice, pro-abortion, mandated abortions.
Like eugenics?
Well, I mean, just for certain people.
What kind of people?
I mean, could you really call it eugenics if it only applies to a certain set of people?
I think that's
You know,
called
you know.
genocide, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's called just like racial genocide. I think that's like a horrible thing.
Okay, yeah, you've convinced me. Perhaps Planned Parenthood is a bad idea.
What?
What the fuck?
Just like, what is this guy waffle? I'm just kind of.
This guy's flip-flopping.
Yeah.
I really hope you enjoyed that debate. If you did, please leave me a like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to come join us in any kind of conversation, come join the server, link down in the description. But for now, that's all I have for you today. See you in the next one.